Good morning, Michael.
Oh, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. Nice to see you as always.
So next week I reach a big milestone on my date of birth, my age, I should say.
Mm.
You know, the funny thing is, when I was young, I was poor. But after working all these years, now I'm no longer young.
So when is your birthday?
The 22nd. What's that? Tuesday?
It is Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday? Oh, I was anxious to
Glad
get
I'm
it.
here. I'm glad I'm here to remind you of your birthday. The reason I know that 2, 3, 4 is my son is flying in from your state home for Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which he usually never does. My son's in the golf business, Zach, and if he's at a private golf course, which he's always at, they never close. People play golf all the time, including Christmas Day. He never comes home.
Right.
Now he's in Lakeland at a golf resort. So as a result of the resort, they close for 4 days.
Nice.
Coming home Tuesday till Sunday.
So that's what that deserves.
So on my end, my timing was perfect, except we got a little bit of an internet delay, and I probably looked
Oh
off.
no, you covered it very well because it looked perfect for me too.
Mm. Although I don't care. I should stop worrying about what other people think about my rhythm, other than my bass player and guitar player. Oh, Michael, it'd be nice to have him home for Christmas. Um, I can't believe Christmas is a week from today.
Isn't that something? Wow.
I'm assuming, based upon you and I and our commitment to our viewership, listenership, a lot of value, and they are showing up on a regular basis for it. So we're going to probably be recording next Saturday because it's just Saturday like every other Saturday.
Yeah, and it'll be the last one of the year.
Oh,
Or maybe
we
not. I
try to
don't know.
get
We can do
fun.
another one.
I was trying to be sarcastic, assuming we're not doing next Saturday, and now you've
Oh,
played me on that, and suddenly I just committed myself to recording a podcast on Christmas Day.
well, no, really. Zach's going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we do the podcast with Zach? Maybe he can reveal some things about his dad.
Oh, I don't think that would be available.
Wow.
Oh, that's fun. Are you getting into the Christmas spirit?
Yeah, but it's not the same as it used to be. You know, my kids are gone. One is in Norway, the other one's in L.A. My
Mm,
brothers and sisters are all, and nieces and nephews and stuff are all in Massachusetts.
yeah, it is.
Oh, I have some in Virginia too. So it's like I don't know.
None of it's close to you.
When the kids aren't around, I don't get as many socks and underwear for Christmas either.
Are you low on socks and underwear? Because
Well,
that's
now I have to wash them because usually I get new ones at Christmas. I don't have to wash the old ones, but now I have to do that.
oh my goodness. I'm finding myself trying to get into the Christmas spirit. I'm honestly having a little bit of a challenge. This is my first Christmas without my dad. And I don't think I was giving it much like I wasn't thinking like that's going to affect me, but it has. It kind of creeps in, and I keep, I'm thinking about he and my mom, and like, wow, this is
Yeah,
it's interesting. And I'm finally just, giving myself permission to like, okay, so I'm having a time this year, but when
yeah.
I was unaware of it for quite a bit of time before I realized, like, oh, maybe I should give that some, credence. Like maybe that's part of what's going on.
For Christmas, it's nice if it's a little cold, but it's probably not going to be cold. It's probably going to be 81 degrees here.
Yeah,
I want it to be a
that's
little
a
bit
problem.
colder during Christmas so I can go up in the attic and get out my winter shorts.
Oh,
So I don't know if I
so I'm
share
in
this.
this. I was in this store, so I was at a holiday. No, I hate that Christmas party last night at a
Yeah.
friend's house, who owns the company I run some sales appointments for, and so Lynn and I were going to this. It was early, 6:30, catered, and 20 people, 25, not a big number, but and a secret Santa thing. We do the Yankee swap. You show up with one gift, and they pick the numbers, and I was really thinking I got to get out there and buy a couple of gifts this week for this thing. And I was in a store a couple of days ago and I'm in there and like it's a Christmassy store, and I'm like, I'm trying. Maybe this will help me get into the spirit. And I picked up a couple of stupid little trinkety things, and I'm like, all right, so let me at least get out of here. So you have to the line. The line was so I must have 10 cashiers working, but the line. I'm like, there's no way. I went back. I put the stuff back where I got it, and I walked out. I just got no patience for this, which is really not me normally. But I did manage to get a couple of things in time, and we participated in the Secret Santa last night.
Nice. So yesterday I got an interesting thing. I got a text that supposedly was from my broker, my real estate broker.
Yeah.
And it says, this is so-and-so, it stated his name. It said, owner of the company that I work for, right? The real estate company. Well, the guy knows me. He would never say who he is like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Say, can you help me out by, I need you to go buy some Steam cards, whatever it is. I didn't even know what it was. He says, for a client's kids, and I'll reimburse you afterwards. If you could do a favor for me, I really appreciate it. So I knew right away it wasn't my broker.
Right. Right.
I said, hey, where's that one photo that I show everybody, that I show you all the time? And he said, I have no idea what you're talking about. I says, that's because you're not Bob,
Oh, so you actually went back and forth on some communication. How interesting.
Well, you know what I learned? As you know, my Facebook got hacked in October,
Yeah.
and I couldn't recover it. So I had to, after 3 weeks of fighting with Facebook, I finally screwed it. I set up another one. So now the old one is showing up, and contacting all my friends from the old one with free grant money from the government, which is like a total scam. So they want you to give them money so they can get you the money, but you're never going to get it. So I'm trying to get Facebook to close down that account, delete it. But they always respond to me, well, we checked the account and it doesn't violate community standards. I'm like,
except for the fact that it's not me. How's that for a violation?
well, but the account is me. It's just I'm not in control of it.
Right.
It's my account with my picture, and it's my bio, everything that I have in the new one is the same thing that was in the old one, except I have a different photo. But they don't care that this guy's using my account to scam people. As you say, it doesn't violate community standards. And you can't really talk.
I imagine from their perspective, they have no way to know if it's true or not, I guess.
I've sent them my ID several times so that they can see that it's me.
Wow.
And I know that the other scammer, or not the other scammer, but the scammer can't provide my ID. They don't have it.
Right.
Well, maybe they do now. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just going to say, maybe if they're experts at this, they probably can. Well, I get a financial, scam, but payoff for hacking your Facebook account and acting as you, unless you're going to get a lot of credibility because people think they're you. You know what I mean?
Well, some people are getting pretty smart though, because when they get a text saying, "Hey," on Messenger it says, "Hey, how you doing?" It, looks like it came from me. So people, but some of these people are actually doing a lot of the stuff. We're asking questions. So how do I know you? Where did we meet? If the scammer doesn't know how to answer that, they know it's not me.
That's true. So you actually texted this guy back, and he texted you back, and wow.
The guy that wanted me to buy the Steam cards, gift cards.
Yeah.
And then I caught him because he didn't know what the photo was that I show everybody.
I think I know what that photo is.
Everybody that knows me knows, right?
And then some, and thousands of other people who've met you once know.
So
I'm not going to say it now, though.
I don't know if I showed this. I don't know if I shared this with you before. I have a quote here that I really, really like. One of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right, but not enough to know about the subject to know that you're wrong.
Give me that one more time.
One of the great challenges in the world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right, but not enough about the subject to know that you're wrong.
Wow.
Huh? That's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, I like that guy. I never knew who he was. I heard him on a podcast, and he's a neat dude.
So I watched
he runs the Hayden Planetarium in New York City, right?
Yeah. So I watched him on a podcast with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Joe.
So let me tell you something about
About
Joe.
us, so it's only right that we talk about him.
One of the things about Joe is that he doesn't know everything about everything, but he knows how to ask the right questions to make it sound like he does.
Or he'll be transparent, say, I don't know, but that's the transparency. I think that attracts people versus I'm a know-it-all.
Yeah, so Neil deGrasse was on a thing, and Neil was like, he wouldn't let Joe talk. He kept, every time Joe tried to talk, he kept cutting him off and just wouldn't stop talking. But Joe has
Really?
thing, Joe being a martial artist guy, he knows how to control his breathing and stuff.
Yeah.
I can see he was going through it, and he doesn't get angry. He just never gets angry.
How fascinating.
Although one time I saw a video where he was, do you know Carlos Mencia, the comedian?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of comedians complain that Carlos steals his jokes and uses their jokes on stage.
Yes.
So one time he's on stage, doing his comedy, and Joe Rogan walked up on stage and said to him, "Hey, stop using everybody's jokes, man. Use your own jokes." And they get into an argument, and the whole thing was filmed.
As he's on stage?
Yeah, Joe Rogan was really getting on his case big time. He says,
Wow.
it's intellectual property. You can't just take my jokes and use them. Use the other comedian's jokes. Write your own jokes.
That's right.
But he was like really getting in his face. It was amazing. Which reminds me,
Wow.
I gotta have some of my hot tea here. Hold on a second.
I understand. I do. Not only am I saying that joke never gets old, thousands of our viewers are going, oh, I know where this is going.
I know. That's funny, isn't it?
I know. I understand. I do.
I do, yeah.
I'm scrolling through my podcast because I'm trying to find, here it is. So here's a podcast recommendation I'll make because, we're all about helping people. Ours should not be the only podcast people listen to.
Oh, now be careful now.
I'll see if I can get these guys to be our sponsors. There's a podcast called Smartless, and it's hosted by three guys who we know, and we've talked about this already: Will Arnett and Jason Bateman and Sean. I always forget Sean Hayes from Will and Grace.
Oh yeah.
These three guys are best buddies, and I didn't know that. I knew that Will and Jason were from Arrested Development. So they have three hosts on this podcast, and they bring on a guest, and so it's a great one. It really is worth listening to. But episode 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 was Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh. And that's where I heard about this guy for the first time, and he's fascinating. So I would recommend anybody going to Smartless and listening to all of it, but certainly Neil deGrasse Tyson, because as you look at this, I just got a text message. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
No way to bring them on the air, but.
So, what's the comedian that was on
Tony Cabral?
No, the guy on that show. Oh shoot, what happened? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm okay.
Is your computer okay?
Really? Wow, that's awesome. That just goes to show people we're all about real podcasts. It's not all pre-set up. It's not all staged. We actually do have laptops that fall off desks.
And you didn't have a stage crew to go help you with that. You're fixing it yourself. See that?
Oh, I did that myself. I sent all the help home earlier.
So the guy you mentioned, the third guy, is Sean. What's his name? That was with the
Sean Hayes.
Okay. So during one of those, what are the things what do they call them? Where people go in and roast, like a roast thing.
Oh, yeah. I think it's called comedy roast or something like that.
Yeah, so Nikki Glazer, which is a real funny woman, she's real funny. But she was talking about him, she goes, what was the name of that show? Something Grace.
Will and Grace.
She goes, Will and Grace was the best that you could do. Like she says all these things, but then she has a little stall, and she ends them a different
end. A little extra on the end. It was the best that you could do. That's funny. It's so funny you say that. I was flipping by very briefly last night, like on YouTube, and I saw some roast. Boy, they are brutal. I mean, it's funny, but it's like shocking that they're actually saying this. And when you get past the shock, some of it's hysterical, which is a whole different kind of comedy. But oh my goodness.
So sometimes I watch those roasts from the Dean Martin roasts, the old ones,
Yeah.
where they had about 20 people on the thing on the panel there.
Yeah.
And Don Rickles was unfreaking believable, man. And then the other guy was really good is Foster Brooks, the drunk.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about him.
Yes, he's supposed to be a drunk pilot or something. But he plays the drunk so well.
Who was on this one? This was there were rappers and athletes. Snoop Dogg was on there, Shaquille, Martha Stewart, Justin Bieber, and there was a
Oh yeah,
woman,
yeah.
I don't know who she was, and she was ripping them to shreds. And I guess I mean, you got to sit there and it gets really personal, but that's why it's funny because it has a thread of honesty to it.
Yeah, and some of those,
You gotta sit there and laugh at the jokes about you, which I think speaks a lot to your
but a lot of
confidence or
times
something.
the jokes are funny and stuff. But Ian Coulter sometimes is on those, and I don't know why because people aren't trying to be funny with her. They're being mean to her.
Ian Coulter, yeah.
So why she even go to that? It's crazy. I don't understand. Like if
He's
you and I
one
went to one of
line
those, they'd be funny. They'd be funny to us, but they wouldn't be mean to us because everybody loves us, right?
Absolutely.
Rim shot.
Rim
Wow.
The Christmas Spirit. I found this book. Look at this book. I did a lot of cleaning in this office. It's all I can do not to show you a tour of the office and how clean it is. And this, I think, was in a bookshelf. Look how old this book is. And it's called The World's Greatest Christmas Stories.
Wow.
And so here's what's cool about the book. So I looked at it just looks a little aged and old, which it is. It was published in 1950. This was bought as a first edition. And there's a handwritten note in here in pencil. It says, to Reba. Reba was my grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Who died in 1967. And so this says, to Reba, may you have many enjoyable hours with these stories. Sincerest wishes from us both. It's signed by Tilly. I don't know who Tilly is. And it says 1952. So this is a Christmas gift in 52. And so I set this aside. And the other night I sat down. I got this great chair in my bedroom. I kind of start my day.
Yeah.
So I sat down and read the first story. And there's a lot to this. There's a emotional attachment of my grandmother's book that my mom kept all these years that somehow I ended up with. And this morning, I didn't find this. In all transparency, Lynn found it. Where is it? There's a bookmark in here that is the wrapping paper that was originally wrapped this gift 69 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
So I'm looking forward to starting my own tradition around Christmas in this book and reading a few stories.
Huh.
So there you go. So there's that.
So remember that book that you bought at a yard sale that was inscribed by somebody's mother? The book that was 700 pages or something?
Inscribed by someone's mother.
You took the book, you read it, there's like 700 pages.
Yeah.
You bought it at a yard sale. But it was inscribed from the mother to the daughter.
Oh, yeah. That Stephen King book, yes.
Yeah, so I think that message from the mother to the daughter, to me, it says that the daughter was adopted.
Interesting. If I recall, so the name of the book was Desperation. It said, dear, I'll remember the girl's name in a second. It was very much like, I love you, and I'm so sad that you've had tough times in the past. A bright future of no more desperation.
Yeah,
I just remember, and that was the first edition. That was like a 2001 Stephen King book. And it was dated like Christmas 01 or 02. Shelby. Wow.
So for some reason,
I think it was Shelby. I'm scanning my bookshelf to see if it's here. I'm not sure where I could find that. But I was just not saddened, but I was surprised with a little sad. Like, how is it that I have this book for 25 cents at a yard sale when it was given by Shelby's mother to her for Christmas?
Yeah,
This book.
I didn't say anything that day when you read it, but for some reason when you read it, the first thing I thought was that Shelby
She's
was
adopted.
adopted. That's why she would never go through that again or something like that. Or something. I don't know. Maybe I was just dreaming, but this.
No, that's just an interpretation. I love that. And I was just about to say, we'll never know unless Shelby, who's obviously watching right now, will contact us to let us know. And maybe what if she said, my house was broken into and that book was stolen and I've been looking for it ever since. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
So, Zach, your son Zach is involved in golf, right?
Yes, very much.
So when he comes home, you should find a pair of socks that has a hole in it, or cut a hole in it.
And then
Say,
tell
Zach,
him, hey, I finally got a hole in one.
yeah, say, Zach, because you're here, I wanted to show you my golf socks. I'm wearing my golf socks today. He'd say, huh? So you take your shoe off and say, see, I have a hole in one. He might like that.
I stepped all over your joke. I think that mine was better than yours, but that's just me. I got a friend of mine who I don't see a lot who posted a picture on Facebook months ago, bending over to pick a golf ball out of a hole, and he's got the flag, and he's basically saying, "My first hole in one." Of course, I saved the picture of Facebook. I sent him a nice card with the picture and said, "Congratulations on the hole in one." So now, last week, he's on Facebook, Hawaii, on a golf course with his wife and another couple, and he responded saying, "If you get another hole in one, the friendship is over." Oh,
So I saw the house one time to a couple, real nice couple, at the Eagles, which is a golf course here in Tampa.
the Eagles. I like
Yeah,
that.
and they bought the house. It was nice. So when the house when all moved in and stuff, they invited me to go over have a coffee with them to see the house, all furnished, see what they did with it. So I did, and on one of the walls there was a picture of her at a golf course. It was like a plaque from some golf course in North Carolina or South Carolina somewhere, and it was because she had a hole in one. So I guess they do that. The golf courses do that, and they put together some kind of plaque for you. It's really cool.
Yeah, usually golf courses make a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
At least a name on a plaque or something like
So I says, "What? Wow, that's awesome! You got a hole in one." And the husband starts laughing. He goes, "Honey, tell him what happened."
that. There's always a story. Tell me what happened.
So what happened is she hit the ball right.
I got to guess at where this is going. I'll tell you if I'm right in a minute.
Yeah. So she hits the ball and it goes over towards the green where the flag is at.
That's good so far.
So far. Then when she went over there to putter it into the hole, she couldn't find the ball anywhere. So she's looking for the ball and it's not there. It's not on the green. It's like, so one of the guys says, "Hey, check the hole. Maybe it went in the hole."
Check the cup.
Check the cup. Yeah, not the hole. The cup. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So she says, "Oh yeah, right." But she was like still looking around. So she says, "No, seriously, check the cup." She goes over there and the ball's in the cup, but she didn't even see that she got the hole in one.
Right.
That's
It's
one.
about as unsatisfying as a hole in one can get to not see it go in.
Yeah.
I had that happen. I was in Florida at the LPGA course in Daytona, and it was a par four. So my second shot was way down, uphill shot. It was left. I hit a fairway wood. It was a long way. It was 180 yards, 185 yards up this hill, and somehow it's curving left. Well, I'm a lefty, so it's easy to away from me onto the green. I'm like, wow. I mean, I might be on the green. I couldn't see the green from there. I walked up and I'm like, oh, I can't believe this. I must have hit it so hard it went through the green into the woods. So I'm in the woods and looking around, and it was in the cup. But it was my second shot on a par four. So it was kind of an eagle speaking, but I didn't see it go in either.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of eagles that I didn't see that shot go in, but never close to a hole in one.
Yeah.
The hole in one idea. Most golfers, that's part of their initial conversations. And my father-in-law, who's been golfing for 70 years, literally, has never had a hole in one. His son, my brother-in-law Jim in Orlando, has two.
So this golfer was an older guy that was a really good golfer, and he had a new caddy that day. So he was going through the thing, but he didn't like the caddy at all. The caddy wasn't doing what he wanted to do. So at the end of the thing, he says to the caddies, "You have got to be the worst caddy in the world." And the caddy said, "Sir, that would be too much of a coincidence."
That you got me. Once in a while, you get me. That would be too much of a coincidence. That's funny. So Jim has a hole in one at a golf course. This is interesting. Some Orlando area. What was the name of that place? Winter Springs, I want to say. Uh, but right behind this wall, I have one of those big cabinets that holds golf logo golf balls, and I have always bought a logo ball for every course I've played, so I'm sure it's right there. The golf he has a hole in one. The golf course doesn't exist anymore. It got sold out. They let it just grow in, which is interesting. A week later, he was back at this golf course on the same hole and hit the ball. Literally, so when you walked over and looked down at the cup, the ball was hanging over the cup. It didn't go in, but it was a week after the hole in one in the exact same hole. I must have two in the same hole.
Who did that?
I was with him. He's got a condo down in Daytona Beach, and part of the membership includes this golf course across the street on A1A. It's a little 9-hole. It's not even an executive course. It's shorter than that. And literally just, it's not miniature golf, but, 30, 40, 60-yard holes. I was with him for this one and took a little pitching wedge and he chipped it up and over. It's 40 yards and it rolls in the cup. He's like, I got a hole in one. And I said, yeah, the only problem is now you can't tell anybody because they're going to say, how far was the hole? And he's going to go, well, it's 40 yards. And you can't. So we had a good laugh about that. He didn't even count that one.
So I've been in Florida for 30 years, but just this year I started golfing, right?
You did?
So the guys that I'm golfing with have been doing it for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and they say that for a beginner I'm doing real well until I get to the windmill with the dragon.
So I said mini golf, and that triggered a little.
Triggered a joke, yeah. So one time I actually went golfing with three guys, a real estate broker that I knew and two attorneys. So I'd never done it before, and for some reason the tree wood seemed to fit my hand right. I don't know anything about golf, but whenever I hit the ball with a tree wood, it went where I wanted it to, or at least close to it.
Mm-hmm.
So one time I actually sliced it and went over, towards the woods there. So now I had to go find it to get it. But instead of just walking over there, I got in a golf cart and I went over there to get it. And I'm in a golf cart and I'm on the side of the golf cart trying to hit it back up to where it's supposed to be. But there was some four guys who were playing behind us. They were getting all upset. But I thought they were joking around because I'm always joking. So he goes, hey, says, oh yeah, sorry about that. I just had to get it up here, and I'm sure you guys appreciated my technique, and I'm trying to be funny with them. But the guys I went with said, Tony, they're not joking. These guys are serious when they golf. They don't want to be slowed down them, and we have to move out of the way and let them play.
Yeah.
So we let them play through, or whatever you call it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Very courteous of you.
So my buddy said, so what'd you think? I says, I think it was a lot of fun, but it's not for me. I mean, I don't know why you guys like this stuff so much. It's not my thing. Yeah.
It is kind of funny because you're in Florida and it's a very it's business networking activity, golf.
So the other day I was going down on Memorial Highway over here in Tampa, and there's a golf course right there. And I guess the guy in front of me got hit with a golf ball on his windshield. So he slammed the car brakes on and pulled over. So no, I couldn't get around him. And then the police car came by and started talking to the driver there and stuff. So I got out of the car to see if everything was okay. And the golfer came over to apologize. So the police said to the golfer, "You know what it was? You sliced it. You need to hold the club like this more, so you don't slice it. That's what it was."
Oh my goodness, it's a fun game. I've got different the past couple of years, but I have really lost my passion. I would like to get back to that sometime.
So one time I was with Jim Picard up in New Hampshire, where I did the business, right? And then he saw a place where on the side of the road there was a place that was selling boats. He says, "Hey, let's pull in there. Let's do a little dream building. Let's look at some boats." So we go, and I'm looking around, and there was a golf ball in between those couple of the boats. I said, "Hey, there's a golf ball here. What's this about?" He goes, "Well, I don't know." So then I find another one. I said, "Look at this, another golf ball." He goes, "What the heck?" So he starts looking around and says, well, yeah, there's a driving range right there. I says, well, what are these things doing here? He says, well, people are slicing them. I said, what's that mean? And so people were hitting the balls and slicing them. And they were going over to the boat dealership over there. But that
That's
guy,
funny.
going on a trip like that with Jim Picard was a lot of fun. That he's a funny guy.
Oh my God. I haven't talked to him in years, but one of the greatest.
Yeah, he was cool.
Terrific dude. Funny.
Funny and funny looking too.
You can say that, but I
I,
don't know him well enough to say that.
I can say that because I know he's not going to be watching the podcast. So
I was going to say, well, we just lost a viewer, so
maybe I should send it to him. Say, hey Jim,
talking about you.
we talked about you this week on the podcast. Check it out, man.
Episode 18. Let me know what you think.
Yeah,
Please subscribe and rate.
19. This is 19.
19. You sure?
Oh yeah, we're moving right along, man.
Joe Rogan thinks it's 18.
Well,
Shaking in his boots.
every one of his podcasts that I watch of him, sometimes I don't watch the whole thing, but if I see some like little clips of something that's just a few minutes, I'll watch it. I don't want to watch a 3 hour podcast.
I got to tell you, I'm a little intimidated by the length of it. And I spend a lot of time on the road, as you know. So it's not unusual for me to be on the road for hours in a day. The Joe Rogan podcast, and it's 3 hours and 7 minutes. And I'm like, so intimidated just to even hit start. And so I don't.
Yeah.
The day on Hissy was like 4 hours and 52 minutes. Crazy.
Yeah. I think if you're like 30 to 45 minutes max, I think it's a good, for people to sit down and watch it and stuff. I don't know.
So hence our business model.
I
Aha!
don't know. I think if you're doing too long, people don't want to even watch it.
I would agree. Is this your sign that we should stop, or?
No, not yet.
Well, not yet.
7
So
more
this
minutes.
has come up. This has been in my brain 3 times now. So I was doing some reading this week, and I've always been fascinated by this. But out in not quite Western Mass, but past up north, there's something called the Quabbin Reservoir. And this reservoir is where Boston gets most of its water.
Huh.
The population was growing in 1910, 20s, and 30s. They're like, we got to do something. And so the Quabbin Reservoir was obviously, they dammed off this river and built this reservoir. But to do this, there were 4 towns in Massachusetts that were flooded to make the Quabbin Reservoir.
Really?
Yes, and I've always been, it's actually 4.5, and I was always intrigued by like, wow, this is kind of like, I kind of like imagine that town meeting where the guy's like, I got an idea. Let's flood these 4 towns. And I think it's hysterical, but when they did this, 30s, they literally cut all the trees down, and they all the cemeteries that dug up all the bodies had to move all the bodies to be buried somewhere else, which I thought was kind of cool and respectful. But all the stone structures they left, so there are stone buildings, and you can hike around the Quabbin Reservoir too. It's very big for fishing and hiking around, but there's no boating because it's a water supply. I mean, maybe kayaks, I honestly don't know, but certainly no motors. But you can literally see like a stone wall that just goes down and just disappears into the water.
Wow.
Be a town, and so it's just freaky to me, but it's also so interesting. So this was Endicott, Massachusetts. Enfield,
yeah.
Enfield, Mass. No longer exists. Endicott. New Salem is a town that half the town was gone. So New Salem still exists, but it's half the size it used to be. A smaller name, you'd think I would have had all this set aside, but fascinating. Sure, there's a college out there, and each of the dorms are named after those towns.
Yeah. So what's interesting? I was reading about this the other day, and on Saturdays the water level goes down quite a bit on Saturdays, because people in Boston take a bath on Saturday.
So you know all about the Quabbin Reservoir then.
Oh yeah. That's funny.
I'm surprised that one of our listeners hasn't already texted me the answer to the other 2 towns out there. I'll come up with them.
You ever go to Clinton and see that what's it
That
called? The,
dam,
the dam, yeah.
it's beautiful. Beautiful. What a nice spot.
Nice spot. And
In fact, this is so funny. If you're at that dam across the street, I think that's Route 70 that goes down the hill into Clinton.
yeah.
Across the street, you can climb up there. You'll see this big stone structure. I think there used to be a railroad that came across there. So now you climb up there. There's a stone tunnel that goes underground. You can see the light on the other side. It's about a quarter mile in.
Wow.
Got all sorts of graffiti. I can imagine all the kids up there drinking and smoking, and it's one of those places now. But years ago, the first, well, I wouldn't even call it a photography session for our band because it was all selfies with, our iPhones on tripods. We didn't even have a photographer, but we did a photo shot up there. It's a tunnel up there. It's right. I mean, it's right there, but most people don't even know it exists because it's 20, 30 feet up higher than the road. Interesting.
This week I was at a 7-Eleven getting gas in my car. I pulled up. My car was pretty much on empty. So I pulled the thing and I put the card in there and I put the you know the whatever you call
The
it,
code.
code, and I actually put the thing into the gas tank and I was holding it and and then I hear this thing like, so I looked over and there was a guy in front of the store that just came out of the store with a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, that's exactly what that sounds like. Yeah.
Right, so he's doing this. Now, keep in mind my car was empty, so it took a while for it to fill. But he never stopped the whole time he was doing that, right? With a pack hitting the back of his hand. So I went over to him and says, "Hey, what's the limit? How many times are you supposed to do it?" He said, "Huh?" I said, "Why you keep doing that?" He goes, "Well, because if you do that, it packs the tobacco,
You pack the tobacco down in the cigarette, right?
and it makes the cigarette last longer or something." I says, "Yeah, but I was over there filming the thing, and you must have gone over the limit, buddy, because you keep doing this over and over and over and over again." So now he's looking at me kind of weird. So I said, "So because of that, now you have to see a picture of my pride and joy." So he goes, "Oh, what's that?" So I showed it to him, and he started laughing, and then we just had a nice little conversation. But it was amazing how many times he did it. So then I asked another one of my friends, "Why do you guys do that?" He says, "Oh, because it packs the tobacco and lasts longer." I says, "How many times are you supposed to do it?" He says, "I don't know." I says, "Well, this guy did it probably 150 times over there in front of 7-Eleven. I just didn't understand why he was doing it so much. Maybe he's just nervous or something. I don't get it."
You know, it's funny. As soon as you started to imitate that sound, I was able to hear it. Like growing up, many, many more people were smoking, and so people do it all over the place.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what people are
Did you ever smoke?
still in there.
Did you ever smoke cigarettes?
No, never did. I mean, as a kid, I tried it, but I never did.
So I did for a little while. I used to play soccer, and then
What does that have to do with smoking?
well, here's why. There's a story that goes along with it. So during the off season, I would start smoking. It's
Oh,
stupid to smoke because when you do the first few, you actually feel sick.
oh my God.
Why would you keep doing it? But anyway, then in the spring when the snow was gone, we decided to go over to the field and start playing around with the ball and stuff. So I got there early.
Start running.
We're gonna have practice. I was there early, and I started before I even changed into my soccer attire. Running around, and run around, kick the ball with some friends and stuff. And I found myself like running out of breath and stuff and coughing. I said, "What the heck's going on?" And I looked down in my T-shirt that had a pocket. There was a pack of cigarettes there. I says, "Well, I don't need you anymore," and I threw it in the woods. And that was it.
And that's the last time you stopped right then?
Yeah,
Wow.
and then what happened is that if you go to a Portuguese wedding, for some reason, on the table setting with the forks and the knives and stuff, there's always a cigarette.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, because I think back in Portugal, women weren't supposed to smoke cigarettes, but at the wedding they could smoke.
It's just a cultural thing. Does that still
Yeah,
happen today? That doesn't happen today, does
I
it?
don't know. I haven't gone to one of those weddings in a long time. But anyway, so I lit that thing up and I smoked it. It was a menthol, and I literally went to the bathroom and vomited,
Really?
which was a great thing because I says I will never do that again.
True.
Such a stupid.
True, and it's a but tough thing to quit. I mean, I have friends of mine who've quit, and they said it's still years and years later they still get craving.
So
Or if they're doing certain things, it triggers the craving.
so I used to be. You probably appreciate this story. I used to be a mortgage broker, and one of my friends, I sold my house and I did the mortgage. And a few years later, he said, "Hey, can we see if we can refinance the house? Can you come over and talk to us? I said, sure. So I went over and said, so what's up? I said, well, we're short on money every month. So we're trying to refinance and see if we can, cut things off or something. I said, so do you have a budget thing that you go through? And they start telling me, I said, so what do you do? What do you do every day with money? So he goes to 7-Eleven, gets a coffee, two packs of cigarettes, and one of those breakfast sandwiches every day. I said, so what's that cost you? He said, well, with the 2 packs and stuff, it's probably about $12, something. So I said, so you do it every
You know
day.
what that cost today? Oh my God, that'd be $27 today.
Right, so then says to her, so what about you? She goes, well, I do the same thing, but I only get 1 pack a day. So I said, well, if you really think about it, if you just go to the casino down there, the Indian casino, you can get cigarettes a lot cheaper. And if you buy it by the carton, not by the pack, because you're paying a lot more money than that. So I started doing the math for them, and then we'll ask them questions up. And I said, looks like you guys are spending about $500 a month just going to 7-Eleven every morning. Stop doing that.
$500.
Between cigarettes and coffee and breakfast sandwiches, it's crazy. I said, you don't need to refinance your house. You just need to cut that out. Go to the store, buy some stuff, and make your own breakfast, and buy cigarettes by the pack, by the carton, not by the pack. So you can't. I don't know.
It's fascinating. You mentioned $500 a month, and I'll never forget the story. It's probably 5 years ago this happened. 3 or 4 anyway. Because people tend to $500 a month, whatever. And I got a friend of mine who's a bankruptcy attorney. And he had said to me the year before that, I remember the numbers, it was 2.95 million. So let's call it 3 million personal bankruptcies in America. And he said $500 a month would have made a difference in 90% of those bankruptcies.
Wow.
$500 a month is a fortune. Amazing. But it's fascinating from your story about how you could just blow through stuff and not even count it and go.
Well, it's $6,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Think about what $500 a month, that buys a lot of car payment.
Oh,
Vacation fund, imagine $6,000 at the end of the year for a vacation.
Imagine a real nice guitar.
Sure. If you want to make it all about you, sure, we can talk about that.
Remember.
And I know, I did the math on that one also.
All I care about is playing guitar and maybe 3 people.
Maybe, I love that. You're not going to commit to 3 people, maybe 3 people, at the most.
And maybe 3 people.
Yeah. I'm not committing to liking 3 people. But at the most, there's going to be 3. There might not be 3, but at the most, it's going to be 3. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's all I got room for. So what do you got going today?
Ironically, I was going to have lunch with my wonderful niece and nephew, which I do every other Saturday, as you know, and our listeners know. I don't use their names for privacy, But Sean, so much for that, just texted me saying he doesn't think he can make lunch today because his stomach is bothering him. So now I have to text my niece to say, hey, you want to go out just us? Or I'm also going to see them Friday night, picking them up for Christmas Eve.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we'll push. So I don't know. And Marco, who you know, who you spoke to in non-English, just bought a house and they're moving in this weekend. So I texted him hey, can I help tomorrow afternoon or Sunday? He's like, just let me know. So they just bought a house in Millbury, so they're 10 minutes from me. And I'll probably run down and help them do some unpacking or moving or whatever needs doing.
So Marco, did he think it was funny that I was speaking non-English to him?
It was awesome.
So maybe I'll tell the story again because Mike and Greg and Marco, they have a band called Stillface.
Barry and Marco and me.
Barry, right?
Yeah.
Did I say Gary?
I don't know what you said, but it didn't sound like Barry.
Okay, Barry. Yeah. So anyway,
Marco's Brazil. Sorry.
I was talking to Marco, and because of his accent, I knew right away he was Brazilian. See, so he didn't know that I was Portuguese and I spoke Portuguese. So I was talking to him, and you and Barry kind of came in and started talking to us. I said, hey, listen, I'm having a private conversation with Marco. You guys can either go away, or we can talk in a different language so you guys can't understand us. So both of you thought I was full of crap when I said that because, you know, so I started speaking to Marco in Portuguese, and you looked at me kind of strange, and you started answering me in Portuguese,
Right back.
and you guys said, "Oh, we don't know what they're talking about," so you left. We thought that
Well, I
was
just left because it felt like you were talking about me. I'm like, I don't need to be here for this. And sure enough, you were.
That was funny.
That was fun.
So has Zach ever seen you play?
I don't think Zach has ever seen me play. My daughter Jenna's always seen us play once. This band. There's another time she saw us play. That's a crazy story. We got time for one more story?
Yeah.
So when I got back to drumming, because there was a 20 or 25 year hiatus there, and my buddy Joe, JD and the Retro Riders, was solely responsible for me getting back to this. In California visiting him, we got Jim. He's like, "You haven't lost anything. You got to do this." And I was just inspired. So I came home and I bought a drum set and I started taking lessons. And a couple of guys I knew from a business networking group, we put together a cover band. We had a blast. And so we got out there, we started playing clubs. There was this club we were playing down in Foxborough one night, and we played there a couple times. Both my parents were alive. They lived in New Hampshire. Jenna was like in high school. She was still living, we were in Shrewsbury. And of course, I usually get to these gigs, 5:00 in the afternoon. I got to set up drums, and I just want to get set up and get ready. It might have been 6, but it was early. And I pull in the parking lot of this place, Toyota Camry station wagon with New Hampshire plates. And I look at that and I go, that's my parents' car, 3 hours from where they live.
Wow.
So Jenna had called my parents to say, hey, my dad's playing at this club. You guys should come down and surprise him.
Wow.
So they did. So this gets even better. So this is such a cool story. So they surprised me. It was a really fun time. And my dad was a big hit with everybody because he was out there. So we're talking, he would have been 85 years old, somewhere in that range. He's out there dancing with everybody because we were a cover band playing very danceable stuff, just like you guys probably. And so crowds of people dancing. It was a ton of fun. He's out there dancing with everybody. Everybody, I mean, what woman doesn't want to dance with this cute 85-year-old dude,
Yeah.
This is hysterical because Lynn, I've known for 15 years, and she was there that night with a group of people, and she used it kind of as a networking event. So she's a mortgage broker, and she had some realtors with her. It was like a night out. We're having a blast, and at one of our breaks, she grabs me and says, hey, would you come say hello to my little group of people over here? I said, I'd be happy to. So I go over and meet all these friends of hers, and we're chatting it up. And Lynn and I had known each other, 4 or 5 years at the time, so we were buddies, and glad you're here. So that whole story goes away. And 6 months ago, a year ago, Lynn's like, oh, look at this picture. It just came up on Facebook of one of my memories. And it was a picture of her at that club the night of that event. And I'm looking at this picture of her, and right behind her is my daughter. And I go, that's my daughter. And I hadn't met her at the time. And it was just so funny that how the whole thing lined up.
That's cool, yeah.
Crazy, right? It was so fun. So I got Jenna's, who now lives in New Hampshire, and I said, I got a crazy story for you. So I brought up her Facebook post with the picture from that night of her, and I said, that right there is Lynn. She's like, what? It was just crazy.
Wow. So we used to play at this Halloween block party. So this one guy would hire us. We'd play in his driveway, and the neighbors would bring tables and food. Everybody would bring some food.
Remember that?
And then, it was really cool. So one time there was 2 girls there that got into a little bit of a beef, and they started pushing each other around. And one of the neighbors was a police officer. But he didn't want to be involved in it because, he's a neighbor and stuff. So he called the police. Next thing you know, 4 police cars showed up and a fire truck for some reason. I don't know why. To break up the fight, but the fight was already broken up anyway. And then
fire department?
The guys were looking at me, and I said, no, keep playing, keep playing. So while the cops are there talking to the girls and stuff, we just kept playing. And my son Josh was at that thing that was the first time he saw us play, with the new singer and stuff. So he says to me afterwards, he says, Dad, that was so cool because when the thing was over and the police cars were leaving, each car, the police officer would roll down the window and wave at us and stuff. And, we're playing, but we're doing this stuff, and then the next cars, all four cars did it, and the fire truck did it. So after this, we're playing, and taking a break. My son says, "Dad, that was so friggin' cool. You had four police cars here and a fire truck. You guys never stopped playing." I says, "Well, we got played to play, not to check to see what's going on." He thought it was funny. But the best
That
thing,
is awesome.
the funniest thing that ever happened to us when we were playing is that we're at a private party with a house with a pool. And at 10 o'clock you're supposed to turn it down at least or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were playing Judas Priest's "Breaking the Law," breaking the law, breaking, that kind of stuff. And the bass player's wife Jen comes over. She goes, "Hey, guys!" So she got us to stop during the middle of the song. I said, "What's going on?" She goes, "Well, you guys really are breaking the law. The police are outside saying you need to shut down." I said, "No, we don't need to shut it down. Get them over here." So we started the song again, started playing, and the cops came out. There was three of them, and so we stopped. I said, "Stacy, what's going on?" He says, "Well, it's 10 o'clock. You guys need to." Says, "Do we need to shut down or just turn it down?" He says, "We need to turn it down for sure because neighbors called it was too loud. After 10 o'clock, you can't have loud music like that." But we were playing "Breaking the Law" and the police showed up. It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, very
I
cool.
mean, it's funny you mentioned police. I was just at a hotel looking at this event that I'm getting hired to speak at. At the time, there was this big convention going on, all the world's top best chess players, which I never understood. I could play. I don't. I mean, I know how all the chess guys move. I don't know strategy, but these are some of the best. This argument ensued in the lobby of this hotel about who was better, and it became like fisticuffs. And the police got called. It was a big mess. It's nothing I hate more. It's chestnuts boasting in an open foyer. Whoa! I guess I do got some Christmas spirit. We should probably shut it down after
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Dude. Wow,
that.
very cool.
Later on, I'll tell you where I first heard that.
I know where you first heard it. I heard it at the same place.
Huh?
I heard
Do
it
you
at the
remember
same
who?
place.
Do you remember who it was?
No, but I
No
remember it
name.
was. I remember it was one of those conferences we went to.
Yeah, I remember who it was.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't.
I'll call you in 10 minutes.
Very
Oh, that's
cool,
a good
man.
one. All in there.
All right,
Amazing.
so
Merry Christmas, my friend.
yeah, I just noticed that on the podcast it shows our names. I didn't do that before, so I'm not sure.
Well,
I know
that's
it's
the
checked.
Zoom thing, I think. That's the Zoom part.
Yeah, but I don't think it shows up.
2022 is going to be a good year for the No Hissy Fit Zone podcast. I'm excited.
So now what? Next Saturday is what? We're not doing one next
Christmas
Saturday,
Day.
is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, we can't do that.
No, we can't do
I mean, we could, but then you got to pretend like you're happy about all the gifts you got and stuff, and that's not gonna be true. And then the following one,
that. Right.
New Year's Day, we can't.
Come on.
There's nothing saying we couldn't do it on a Wednesday evening or something, or Thursday evening, or something like that.
Ooh, I like this. You're changing it up for the new year. I like it. I like it.
Wow.
We'll figure it out. We got to get one more done before the year's out. You know what we got to do? We got to schedule it right now. You got to put it in the calendar because then it's going to happen.
Okay.
Good intentions, no good intentions. Let's schedule it.
Hey, bring your phone up so I can see the color of the cover.
I like my blue nicer than
Yeah, yours is lighter.
this. Is overdue for
Mine is more manly.
That's fair. That's fair. So we're looking at the. Oh, you know what? Wow. Okay. How about on Wednesday, the 29th?
When's it the what?
29th.
Oh yeah, that would work.
Oh, really?
Sure.
What time? You said evening. What time?
I don't know.
I have a call. I have a call. I'm on from 5:30 to 6 p.m. Very important call. I'm good after 6.
Okay, so let's say 6:30.
6:30. This is how you get it done, people. You schedule podcast.
6:30, huh?
Tony podcast, 6:30 p.m. PM?
Yeah, let's do PM. Yeah,
Done.
done. All right, buddy.
As I always say, if it goes in the calendar, we show up.
Oh,
Oh, woo!
that was good.
It felt good on my end.
I know. How's the weather up there?
A little overcast. We're supposed to get some snow today, but 1 to 3, it's going to turn to rain. We're middle of December. Actually, we're past the middle of December, and winter really hasn't shown up yet. So I'm pretty thrilled. I got no rush to get to that, but it's coming.
So I mean, I've said it a bunch of times. I've been in Florida for 30 years.
God, I can't believe that. Every time you say it, I shake my head.
In the winter, I still go out like today. I go outside. I already went to put some mail in the mailbox. It's December. It's
Yeah.
79. It's 79 degrees right now, and I walk out in my shorts and t-shirt, and I still say to myself, "Man, I love the winter here in Florida." I actually say that. I verbalize it.
Do you ever miss like the change of seasons?
I do.
Hmm. But you
It's
can
funny.
fly to it and go home to the sun.
When I was up there in July, when I went to see you guys play,
Yeah.
there's still friends and family members that say, "So when are you coming back home?" Right? So I say, "Well, listen, I lived in Massachusetts for 23 years. I've been in Florida for 30. Which one do you think is my home?" Yeah, but they always say, "Well, this is your home." I says, "Then why don't you go back to the Azores because that's your home?" Oh, see,
Aha.
aha. You like to push me around, but you don't like to be pushed. See?
When are you coming home? I've been in Florida 30 years. Take a hint.
Yeah. I tell people, I think we heard this together before too. Because one time my sister was moving to California. She says, "Tony, I think I'm going to move to California because of my job. What do you think?" I says, "Well, it'd be a good experience, but I want you to know something. This lake people and river people." She goes, "What does that mean?" I says, "I think you're more of a lake person." She goes, "What does that mean?" I says, "Well, if you're living around the lake, you always have the same surrounding. But if you live around the river, it keeps changing. The river keeps changing. So some people like that, and some people don't. They like to be set in one place, and that's what they want to be."
Ooh.
And I said, "Because you have your daughters here, and stuff, you got to miss it more than you think because you're really involved with the family all the time with your siblings, and our siblings, whatever." But they decided to go anyway. They went to California. They were there for 1 year, and they said, "Nah, we got to go back home because to them that's home."
I love that they tried it. No
They
regrets.
tried it, yeah, but it was a good experience, but it wasn't for them. And I knew that from the beginning, but I shouldn't say I knew. I suspected that from the beginning.
Yeah.
But
All right, you're right again. It's all about you. Yeah.
so I'm more of a river person. I moved to Phoenix, was there for 3 years, and I came to Florida. So I don't need to be in the same surroundings all the time. Like I don't care. Which now makes me think I have to move again somewhere because I've been sitting here too
Mhm.
long.
Yeah. Well, you got some stuff to talk about on your end.
Maybe I could go to East Coast. What is it?
East.
Where's that place? Something Josh
Give me
Bagosh or
something
something?
more. Give me something more to work with than that.
I don't know.
East of where you are. There's a lot.
uh, Terry would love to go into the mountains somewhere in like
North Carolina.
North Carolina, South Carolina, yeah, wherever. Virginia. I don't know.
Hmm.
I was in Virginia. I told you I was in Virginia like in October.
I remember that.
And the roads, like we're in Scottsville, Virginia, the roads are like roller coasters, and they go up and down, and so because you don't even know what's coming around the corner because when you get up the hill, it's either go straight down or it's going to go left and down or right and down, but you don't know. You don't know what's coming up if there's a big truck or you can't see it. So you try to drive 30 miles an hour because that's what it feels like. But the speed limit is 55, and the people that live there do not put up with me doing just 30. The people in the horn, they're flashing the lights. You have to be at 55. And in the beginning, it's kind of
Sightseeing
crazy.
like a Sunday driver, right?
After a while, you get used to it. You just say, okay, it's no big deal. But it's just when you first get there, it's like, whoa, I don't want to drive like this.
Funny,
Uh,
funny.
all right, one
All
more
right,
sip.
we got a schedule to keep. We're in the book.
Yeah, and I got to do a little bit more of the hot tea.
I'm empty. That's why we got to stop because I'm empty. have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Say hi to Zach.
I will. And the rest of the clan, you too. Say hi to Terry. My best always to you guys.
So you get together with Zach and Jen, of course.
Yeah, we're going to run up and have lunch with Jenna Thursday or Friday. I'm not going to see her on Christmas. We'll do Christmas after the New Year.
Yeah, nice.
So,
Very cool, buddy.
all right, man. Always a pleasure. Nice to see you as always.
Same here. Love you, buddy.
Love you, partner. I'll talk to you soon.
I'm going to end this thing right now. 3,
Boom.
2, 1, boom.